Gore Club Podcast. This is the Gore Club Podcast with Steve Vessell, Ace, and Deathmetal Dave.
How's that now?
Perfect.
Oh, good. I know parking, baby. No parking. Perfect. Well, hello, guys.
Hi, Steve.
I'll wait till you guys are ready. What's the?
The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
I don't know why that was
How
funny.
now, brown cow. Do
God.
my vocal warm-ups.
Are you ready, Steve?
I am always ready.
Oh, good.
I was born ready. Roll.
That's right.
That's my Pee-wee's Big Adventure ode.
I think we're doing the Macho Man.
Ode to No, wrestler. I'm not a wrestler. You're the wrestler.
Wrestler.
Wrestler. Welcome to the Gore Club Podcast. I'm Steve Vessell.
I'm Deathmetal Dave.
I'm Ace.
And tonight we will be talking about one of the greatest movies of all time.
Ghoulies.
Ghoulies 2.
Ghoulies 3.
4.
3.
Ghoulies 3.
Ghoulies 3 because they go to college. Is it actually Ghoulies 3 or is it Ghoulies Go To College and then nobody cares about
It's the third in the series.
the Roman numerals?
So technically,
It is part 3.
it is part 3. Katie had worked up a little intro for us.
I did.
Oh, Katie's on the fucking ball.
Just a little basic info to get us started with Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go To College. That's the official title
Thank you.
that
Thank
I
you
saw written. So you have both Roman numerals and the subtitle, Ghoulies Go To College.
Yeah.
So, Ghoulies Go To College was written by Brett Olson and directed by John Karl Buechler. It is a 1991 direct-to-video from Vestron.
Vestron. Yeah, it may have bankrupted Vestron because they went out of business shortly after this. Is
Ran
that
out of
even-
that dirty dancing money.
Yeah, they ran out of
Oh,
something.
man.
It has a 4.0 rating on IMDb and a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes, which shockingly is not the lowest rated of the Ghoulies movies. That honor goes to Ghoulies 4 with a 2.8.
Yeah. 4 sucks.
Not this one.
I
Not the
rented
one-
that from a gas station as a kid, and it was just not as good.
You're just very disappointed.
I
What?
lost $1 that day.
Oh, God.
Rode
From
my
a-
bike up there, got it,
From a gas station.
rented it from the old lady behind the counter.
I missed that. Like, go behind. Like, did your gas station have like the old cardboard box in the back that you can't talk about? Like,
Not that one. It had
Grandpa sent me up here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Give me the VHS X-rated.
It was literally like a little stand that had like maybe 20 movies on it. That was your only choice.
And Ghoulies 4 made the cut.
It made the cut.
Oh my God.
And I only rented it because of that woman in like the black leather outfit on the front.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was like, oh man, but this is good.
I would always get that confused with Troll 2, that black leather clad beauty. Hello. Troll 2, another
Troll
classic
2.
we have to dissect later.
Just so much black leather in the 80s and 90s.
You got The Howling. You've got this fucking movie. No, part 4. Whatever.
That's it,
Yeah.
apparently.
And you mentioned the writer, Brent Olson. This is the only film he's written.
I don't know why.
I mean,
Well,
It's a
when you
classic.
write something this perfect, you never need to write again.
just give it an old. He gave it the old college try. And, I see what I did there.
Yeah.
And this is what we have. This is what happened.
The legendary Ghoulie. We're finally talking about this fucking movie after having mentioned it in like every single episode ever, Dave.
Dave,
Yeah,
let's just
me.
get on with this plot.
Well, let's get on with the
plot
the
that
plot
it
and the
is.
cast. I think the cast. We mentioned
It's better than the plot.
Yeah, well, we mentioned the writer, the director, John Karl Buechler. You know, we're going to go on about him later.
We have
but,
to do an ode to Buch.
But yeah, he directed this movie. His creature design is very, I would say, it's very
Specific.
It's very specific. Like it's like looking at a Van Gogh painting. You're like, that's a Van Gogh painting.
It is
from
yeah.
this period.
Yeah, you take Jason Voorhees, Cellar Dweller, Troll. Like they all have like this weird
Dungeon
sort
Master?
of Dungeon Master. Oh my God!
They've always got a ghoulie in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all just have a. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it had to do with his sculpts or the phone that he just.
Nightmares.
Yeah.
The nightmares that he had.
John
just kept
Buechler's just
seeing
like,
this.
yeah, man. Yeah, as soon as Jason Voorhees' mask pop off, you're like, oh yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We know who did this. We know who's responsible for this. I mean, you go into then you can go into the cast. If for those of you that don't know, I'll be the first one to say it. You know, Matthew Lillard's in this movie. It's his first movie.
I watched this movie 2 times before I was like at the house, like I think during COVID, and I was like, I'll just pop this in again and watch it. And I was doing my thing where I watch a movie, then immediately go to IMDb and look at the trivia on it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Matthew Lillard, like which one is he? And I kept seeing him in the background. I was like, oh, the nerd,
The actual nerd with glasses. Yeah, he's wearing those 50s like not even like cool glasses, like grandma's glasses.
He's
like,
got the haircut where your mom put a bowl on your head and shaved around it.
Dave is actually wearing the glasses that he's wearing in that movie. I'm not kidding.
He's got the chili bowl.
He's got the chili bowl. I can't grow one of those, sir.
Not anymore.
I can grow a reverse chili bowl.
Yeah.
It's called we call it a bread bowl.
A bread bowl.
Anyway, so we had Matthew Lillard.
I forgot about it. It's like he doesn't even say words, and he's got more.
He doesn't talk about it. But if you ever meet Matthew Lillard, I think you should bring it up. I think we should make that a thing. Be like, hey, can you send this Ghoulies 3 poster for me?
He'd be like, absolutely.
He would be. He's a sweetheart. He would do it in a heartbeat.
He is. He's one of my favorite people that I've ever met.
Great person.
I think so.
Takes his time. He's like, get away from me, horror nerd. There's these kids here that are interested in Shaggy.
That is absolutely fucking true. That is so true. He does that, and that's awesome. Because I was a Scooby-Doo kid. Will be, whatever.
Still be.
Forever and ever. Don't look at me like that.
So, moving on, we've got other people.
Skip.
Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah. Let's jump back. Professor Ragnar.
He needed a paycheck, I guess. I mean,
man, I love Kevin, but yeah, this was a low point as far as cinema is concerned.
Well, I mean, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Inner Space, UHF.
He was in a movie with Marilyn Monroe, and then he's in this.
Yeah.
Sometimes
he's in the last movie with Marilyn Monroe, The Misfits.
The Misfit, yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of those people like from the 50s who became more of a character actor in the 80s, like when he got called up. I mean, it's the Roger Corman thing. Like Joe Dante was like, hey, I need you. Hey, I need you.
Oh, he's
hey,
great in
I need
Howling.
you. And he puts him in so many of his movies. So when you see him in movies that aren't Joe Dante movies, I'm like, who directed this?
It seems like he has, or had, R.I.P.
Yeah, rest in pictures, baby.
A wonderful sense of humor, or at least I'm hoping he did.
It seemed like it.
So he took these kind of like a tongue-in-cheek role instead of being like, I am going to give my all to Professor Ragnar and Ghoulies 3. Like, he knew what he was making.
He was chewing that scenery.
I was getting ready to say that same thing. Like, he was just in there, just like every scene, just like,
like a ghoulie.
Yeah, just, like he just gets crazier and crazier as the movie goes on.
He's just got resting bitch face, so it works for him.
Well, it's funny because when I had seen this film, I know it hadn't been that much earlier than I had seen Twilight Zone, the movie, and he's like the quote unquote uncle in that movie of the kid that has like the powers that can make anything happen he wants, all his wishes. Or
the one with the rabbit.
And it's a good life,
and he's just like that. Go ahead, uncle. He pulls the rabbit out of his hat. Like that's that. He became the rabbit in this movie. From Twilight Zone, the movie.
That's a good analogy, Steve. I like it.
I don't think so. I think I suck.
Let's see. Other notable people, I wouldn't say, well, not notable in horror, but like Eva LaRue, she was in RoboCop 3, and she did a bunch of like, As the World Turns or Days of Our Lives, one of those soap operas.
A lot of these people have been in other things.
She was in 143 episodes of All My Children.
All My Children, there it is.
Katie has notes.
She was also in Young and the Restless, General Hospital, and 153 episodes of CSI Miami.
Yeah, look at her Wikipedia. Tell me if it mentions Ghoulies 3 once, because it doesn't. Most of the actors in this movie don't talk about it, except maybe Evan McKenzie, the main Skip. Yeah, he didn't do very many movies, so I'm sure he's still riding that Ghoulies change.
We also got probably my second favorite person in this movie, which is Marsha Wallace, who was Edna Krabappel on The Simpsons.
Yeah, we talked about that when we were watching it the other night. I was like, how do I know this person's
like,
freaking...
If you don't know her
voice?
Face, you just hear the voice. And
It's
if you
the
ever watch
voice,
The Simpsons, you're like, who the fuck is that? And you're like, oh, it's Miss Krabappel.
Yes. I always remember the one where like they're eating the kids for Halloween, like the Halloween episodes. This is yummy. Detention.
Detention.
It's very interesting. It's one of these movies.
Bruce Lee is in this movie.
What?
Jason Scott Lee, didn't he play Bruce Lee in
the Bruce Lee story?
Oh.
The Dragon?
He's
And
also in Back to the Future too.
Yeah, he has that cool skater hat.
Is he the guy? He's the guy in Back to the Future too. Who's like, with that, he's like, you can't take them when they say you can't take those boards on water, and he goes, unless you got power. I think that's him.
Yeah,
if I'm not
Well,
mistaken.
I mean, he's in Soldier with Kurt Russell. He's the main, like, he's like his arch nemesis. Jason Scott Lee, man, fucking
There's
Academy
also-
Award winning.
Hope
Not
Marie
really.
Carlton,
Yeah.
who was the pinup girl in Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Yeah,
And she
She's-
was also in Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which is one of the greatest movies ever made.
yeah, all those Andy Sedaris movies that she pretty much helped put on the map.
Yeah.
And he fired her because she decided she didn't want to do nudity in those movies anymore. And I see, she's like, I'm evolving as a fucking actress. And
Yeah.
he's like, I am devolving as a filmmaker. What are you doing?
His brain was just slowly getting smoother as he made those movies.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like he and his wife made those movies and they're like, this is what we do.
It's like the movies were getting smaller, the boobs were getting bigger.
Oh, yes, they did. Julie Strain was like Return to Savage
Yeah.
Beast. And she was in the original Savage Beast.
Yeah.
Beast.
She
Has
has,
sand.
she has a crazy horror movie filmography. She did Slaughterhouse Rock,
Which is awesome, by the way. Alcatraz
Yeah.
and Rock and Roll.
Slumber Party Massacre 3. She did some episodes of Freddy's Nightmares. So I mean, not like great stuff. But she was also Miss Miller Lite, 1990.
Oh,
Ooh, man.
Well, that checks out because they've got a lot of fucking
how
Miller
she got
Lite
the
in this
job.
movie.
maybe she helped them get the sponsorship that's never mentioned.
Oh man, we're gonna have to talk about that when we dive a little bit deeper into the film.
That was probably one of the things whenever she got Miss Miller Lite, they were like, and also with your
With your
you get
crown.
a role in Ghoulies 3.
You get a role in a direct-to-video movie of the year.
Oh, yeah, of the year, yeah.
Maybe she got a lifetime supply of Miller Lite and was like, fuck this, I don't want it. So here you go, Ghoulies 3.
I'm on a diet, even though it's light, whatever. Griffin O'Neill is Ryan O'Neill's son, and he's in April Fool's Day. He's in The Wraith. He wears like the bandana in The Wraith, and I forgot what his character's name is in that movie, but it doesn't matter now. But I love The Wraith. And I love April Fool's Day, goddammit.
All good movies.
I like
So-
you all looking at me like, nobody cares, Steve.
So we've got.
I love this crap.
We've got a good cast. What could
Solid.
possibly go wrong?
Yeah, okay.
What could possibly go wrong? So let's talk about the movie at this point.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about the plot of this movie.
There's a plot.
There is a plot. Katie seems like she. Do you have something written down, Katie, about this?
Oh, I've got a whole goddamn timeline of this movie.
Oh, we don't.
We don't need the whole thing.
We don't need the whole timeline. You want to give us a synopsis?
Here, I'll give
But-
you a synopsis. These are the tags on the IMDb. Slapstick, flirting, bound and gagged, tied to a table, female rear nudity, and 33 more. There you go. That's the plot.
That could be like any
What
80s porn.
Those
What
are the tags that are on the freaking movie. Carry on, Katie. You can't be
So-
better than that.
We are at Glazer
Yes.
College, and it's prank week.
And they do the stupidest fucking pranks.
Yank Week.
Oh my God, there's some amazing quotes around the word yank, which I didn't know yank was another word for prank until this film.
No one's ever said that in the history of anything. I think they just made it up for this movie.
Yeah, they had to. I mean, maybe the word prank. No, there's no way that fuck you can't
Nobody's ever
copyright
said
a
I pulled
word.
a yank on somebody.
Yeah.
Not
got
until
ya.
this movie.
I yanked you.
What was the quote that you had mentioned, Ace?
I haven't pulled a yank in days.
It's funny.
Classic.
They put condoms on a fucking. They put condoms on the school mascot. They hung a goat from a pole.
Yeah.
And dressed it seductively is what it said.
Like you do in college.
A man in a rolling mop bucket who just happened to be Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder is
Yeah.
the stunt coordinator on this movie.
Yeah.
He and John Beegler worked many times together. And I don't know, this is after Friday the 13th Part 7.
Yes.
So you got to think, like, if you look at his career, he was doing really well. Even as just like when he started directing movies, you've got like Friday the 13th Part 7 and then Ghoulies 3?
This was the start. This was the start of his decline as a director.
And then he didn't
Yeah.
direct another movie for like 7 years because of Ghoulies 3.
Straight to video.
God
Boy.
damn it.
So it is prank week at this college,
Excuse
and
me. It's Yank.
it's,
Yank Week.
We're
It's all-
yanking.
since there are fraternities involved, it is always Yank Week at a fraternity. Gross. So there are two rival fraternities.
It's the War of the Yanks.
Oh, God. Beta, Zeta,
Circle
Theta.
yank.
You're in a room full of dudes.
Oh, I'm well aware.
Anyways, Beta, Zeta, Theta.
Beta, Zeta, Theta with our hero Skip. As I don't know if he's a president or just like the main guy that they all seem to love, but he is like yanker of the college. He loves pranks.
Yanker of the college.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I've seen that one.
Do we ever realize if they're sophomores, if they're juniors, if they're seniors?
It's-
Are they out of here?
Oh, some of them do mention.
I mean, yeah.
It's at a certain point, like we're never going to graduate now because of this, like in Revenge of the Nerds, except no monsters.
It depends. I don't know. Ogre is a monster to me.
So Skip and Jeremy are rival fraternity members, and they just kind of go back and forth, yanking each other. And then Professor Ragnar, played brilliantly by Kevin McCarthy,
Spot on.
is a professor that hates pranks. And so he is...
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
He's at the wrong
Right?
college.
Well, I mean, not just that. I mean, it'd be like turn on YouTube and everybody's like, "It's a prank, bro. It's a prank." He's dealing with it in real life.
Yeah.
He pisses you off when you watch him online.
When teachers go crazy online, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. So Professor Ragnar, though, actually is the one that summons the Ghoulies. And
How does he summon them though?
with a comic book.
With a comic book.
A comic book. And technically, he's the second person in this movie to summon them. The first one summoned them, and then they got eaten.
Right.
Forgot that guy because you don't care. You don't care about a comic reader.
He's the first person, but it's funny that you can summon demons through comics. I feel like that's what Alan Moore's been trying to do for years.
God, the spells in this movie make no sense. And of course, I've got it written down. Would you like to hear it so we can summon some ghoulies out of a toilet right now?
Absolutely.
Super-
And
Supernatural toilet.
That's the thing, is the supernatural toilet is in the frat that nobody's ever talked about, and it's just covered, like, has piles of porn all around it. So they obviously use this throne many, many times. Somebody's going like, look at the excellence, like it's beautifully carved out of marble, probably
Yeah.
from Conan's age.
It's like they built a frat on an old burial ground somewhere.
Yeah,
The
Conan's
toilet
age.
came with it.
like there was
When it
just
was
a
Pangea,
there
you
was
had
just a
Conan
toilet
and-
there, and then they built the house around it. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Because I don't know,
Did
man.
they transport the fucking bowl
Like-
of beef
I've
to
never
the
s-
fucking?
I've never seen one of these at Home Depot. That's all I'm saying.
They're like, this frat house used to belong to Marie Laveau. He's just built around it.
Oh my God! Is this place in New Orleans? It might be now.
Yeah.
That's the sorority house toilet bowl. This is the Beast of bowl. This is different. But yeah, here's the stupid. Okay, so it's pronounced different ways by different people. So we're just gonna do it the way that Professor Ragnar does it, and I don't think he knows Latin very well.
No.
This is what he says: Lux tenebrae, spinotic birth. Conjures a spirit of dark mirth. Hermetic words of ancient lore. May ghoulies slumber deep no more. Argo pestle vista sprite. Through the dark fantastic dancer of night. Nope, he didn't finish the spell because it was prank week. And he couldn't finish it. But they came around anyways. So there you go.
Yeah, they came out and they realized they were in college.
I've got a course load out the ass.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And they somehow find clothes?
Well, no, they
No.
They land in a pile of clothes.
they in an Apollo
We'll
clothes.
get to the raid. And we'll get to that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so, I'm just...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interject with that awesome spell. Now I have to go check the toilet. I'll be back.
No, thank I swear to God, if there are ghoulies in our house. So,
Bah whoosh.
One of them's got a six-pack.
there's also a love interest in this movie, played by Eva LaRue.
Yeah, nobody talks about Aaron.
She's Aaron, yeah. Well,
RoboCop 3.
she kind of gets embroiled in the battle between Skip and Jeremy. And she kind of jumps back and forth between them, but that's a whole subplot that really isn't important to the actual ghoulies here.
I think it's a very strong statement about women's empowerment. And while she can, I'll fuck this guy this week, I'm going to fuck this guy this week, and they hate each other, and I'm going to sit back and watch. And I'm like, I can respect that.
It's Prank Week
Yeah.
and Yank Week. Sorry.
Oh, and she's yanking everybody.
Oh,
Yes, but unlike back then, we actually applaud her now.
it is her choice to yank
Yeah.
whoever the fuck she wants.
Exactly. I am all about that. Fuck them all.
I love it.
Let the toilets sort them out.
So after the ghoulies have been
was
summoned, they make their first kill at their fraternity, which is Wesley in the toilet, which it is the goofiest fucking. All of these kills are goofy, but goddamn, this toilet kill.
Oh my God, what's his
Where
name?
he's like cut in half.
His leg. I like he tries to act like he's still alive. His leg is literally going straight
Yeah,
up,
it's like right in front of his
in
face.
front of his face, and they're just flushing him down
Yeah.
the beast bowl.
Well, somebody just took a giant dump in your house. You'd be pissed off too.
You know, I don't feel so bad for this guy. He just totally got to get laid like in the most epic way ever for this movie.
At a party.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
You got to go drop a deuce after Yank Week.
So after the Ghoulies have been unleashed and after they kill Wesley, they are up to all sorts of shenanigans.
And I think it's very important that we mention that these ghoulies have personalities now, and they can talk.
This was a big problem with people in the internet, and I think it's hilarious.
People hate that they.
What's your?
The Ghoulies talk.
We talk about this movie at least like once a month on this podcast.
Well, now
And
we're
since you
not,
get 2 episodes a month, think about that.
we're not done with the plot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So after they kill Wesley, the Ghoulies are up to all sorts of shenanigans, pulling pranks that then get blamed on poor little Skip. And that is when Skip pulls his famous line of, "I haven't pulled a yank in days." But it's causing all sorts of problems for Skip. The Professor Ragnar, wants to expel him. Aaron doesn't want anything to do with him because he's childish. And so poor Skip is trying his darndest to show people that he is not responsible.
He's being set up, everybody.
It's being set up
He's being framed.
by the ghoulies.
This will not stand.
And also by Professor Ragnar, who hates Skip and wants to get him expelled. So he's controlling the Ghoulies.
He's like the mean old dean in like every college movie where he's just like, that dean, I'll get him.
I want the dean from like Back to School.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just cool as hell. You know, he was in Deliverance and then
Need
Back to
the-
School. That's all you need to know.
I mean, the dean from Animal House, who was also, he was like basically the dean in every movie ever, or like the bad, like he was in Killer Clowns from Outer Space as the shitty cop. Like,
Oh, that's right. Holy shit.
he always just played like an authority figure in every movie after. Yeah.
He's
What
a
a
bad
dickbag.
guy. Yeah.
I mean, that's basically the very loose plot is Skip is trying to prove that he's not the one pulling these pranks, but everyone's kind of against him. Jeremy's against him. Professor Ragnar's against him.
Matthew Lillard's just there.
Bless his
comes
Just in the
heart.
background.
But yeah, so ghoulies go on a rampage, and they get into some shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like drinking beer.
Drinking
Yes.
Miller Lite.
There is a whole scene where they drink a lot of beer.
What is it with this Miller Lite shit?
I don't know. So we have two connections. We have Miss Miller Lite. We have the fridge full of Miller Lite, because most movies it just says like beer, right? It's
Yeah.
it's a white can and it just says beer because you can't get.
Yeah, it's like Repo Man style.
This is where all Vestron's money went.
Try
That lucrative Miller sponsorship.
Could you imagine walking into a store and just seeing like fucking toilet ghoulie with a beer, be like, have Miller Lite?
on the toilet. I don't think that's a really good way to advertise your beer.
No, they're coming out of the toilet. That's how you keep them cold.
Oh, I know. I thought you were trying to say
Oh,
he's like
yeah.
he's sitting on the toilet with cans of beer. It's like this is where it'll keep you.
That would have been the cardboard cutout for it, like that you would have saw
The
in the beer
standee.
store. The standee of a ghoulie on a toilet holding a Miller Lite.
Yeah, next to Elvira and Coors Light.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I'd go for. Maybe boobs.
Speaking of boobs, one of the scenes that we have to talk about is the Pi Nu, which why they had to have a sorority with the word pie in it. I get it's the 80s, but goddamn, you guys.
This is the panty raid. Is that what we're talking
The
about?
panty raid.
Yeah. So the whole point is like he's trying to like say I'm not that yanker, but I'm still a yanker. I'm still want to be the king of yankers. And then they plot this whole thing out. And though he's not a part of it, the panty raid ensues.
Panty raid ensues,
But
but
it's not Skip's fault.
it's not. But the people that go to steal the panties, you get the tables turned on them.
Turns into a reverse panty raid.
That's what I like about this movie. Now, whether this writer meant it this way or not, or if it was changed on set, I love that they had, like, it's just so fucking stereotypical for something you could never do nowadays, which is like the men or the boys are going to go raid the women's, sorority
Yeah.
and go through all their clothes and watch them undress and do shower scenes. It's like, you can't do any of this anymore.
That's like every 80s.
In reality,
It's
not
like-
fuck the movie.
It's like that thing in like 80s boner comedy movies where it's like, like Screwballs and like all those stupid movies that came out after Animal House where it's just them and it's like, hey, we're going to commit sex crimes for 90 minutes.
I mean, exactly what's
it's
happening
going to be
here.
fun.
And since it's like we're seeing it from the Ghoulies' perspective, it doesn't seem so bad. But if it's us three, we're in prison.
Yeah.
Thank God.
The Ghoulies didn't give a fuck. They succeeded.
Oh, I know.
They're like, we got your panties. We're drunk as shit.
It's blatantly obvious that this was written by a man when during the panty raid you see the sorority girls and they're all in like perfectly matching lingerie, like, oh, this is just how we spend a night. Not to, I'm sorry
Yeah.
to dash your dreams here, but
I'm pretty sure that's what 80s sex comedies taught me.
Yeah.
Slumber Party Massacre showed me how to do my life.
When I got to college and they weren't
Which
wearing
part?
the matching.
All of them. Yeah.
When I was in college, I didn't see a lot of
When Ace
matching
was
underwear.
doing panty raids, they just weren't the same. They didn't smell the same, that's for sure.
not bringing out my finest teddy to hang out with the girls on Friday night.
Right, and they do reverse it, like you said. They go there, and the women are like, "No, we've got you," but they're still like beautifully half naked, and they're gonna do a big pillow fight. And like, yeah, you're right, I lost. I'm so sorry. This sucks.
But this scene also does have an iconic kill with Veronica after her wonderful dance right in front of the fucking open window. She gets plungered in the
The
face.
plunger kill.
I love that too, and like where like it sucks her whole face out, like all cartoonish, like, and then death. But
Everything about this movie is cartoonish.
Oh yeah, there's a sex scene with a handy vac.
yeah, he's like, it's like I just wrote down like, what's he doing with a dustbuster in the bed?
He's yanking.
I couldn't remember what they were called. It's perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Dustbuster sex scene.
Getting dustbuster done to there.
Put that on your
Daredevil or something.
Yeah, that's like that'd be the thumbnail on the DVD, like like the what was it, the finger bang misfire?
Yeah.
From Cabin in the Woods, and this one it's what? It's
Dustbuster.
That's true.
If I have to hear finger bang misfire one more time in this goddamn studio,
When I edit it, you're gonna hear it a lot.
I know.
But like what's weird about this? It's what's weird about this. Like
What's
the
weird
Ghoulies, the Ghoulies are like watching like human women in the shower, which you would think that if they were Ghoulies, why would they be attracted to like human women?
Yeah, they'd be attracted
They would be attracted to
gremlins.
other Ghoulies. There's like if
Yeah.
the hot gremlin came in
Or
and they had like the lipstick on, they would be like, "Oh baby," but
Or like he walks past the fish tank and he's just walking and he
Yeah.
walks past and come back and he's like, hello.
yeah. But like he's sitting there, and like literally one of them in their little ghoulie voices says like, "I'm sporting half a chubby." I'm like, where would this chubby be? Because y'all weren't wearing clothes earlier.
Do you even have genitals?
He's
Yeah.
got an innie.
He's got a six pack, which may be enough to get in.
Well, everything about this
Shredded.
movie is just goofy, which I think is something that people either loved or hated about the movie, which is that even though it is a horror movie and they have kills, the kills are still ridiculous. Like we kind of skipped over the librarian being killed, Miss Crabapple.
Oh yeah.
Her
That's why you're here, Katie.
Her response to her, like whenever she sees the Ghoulies, is also very cartoonish. Where it's like she sees one of them, and it's almost like Stan's mom on South Park, where they're just like, "What? like, so like over the top."
And her tongue is just she's strangled with her own tongue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everybody in this movie is
The
killed
tongue
like
kill.
they were in a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like,
Yeah, which kind of begs the question, like, is this... do you really consider this a horror movie?
Absolutely. Dave made a great comment before we even started. Like, this is a comedy.
It's just a comedy.
It's a comedy with monsters that aren't even like ferocious.
And I
Yeah.
think that's why some people hate it. They go into it and they're like, Ghoulies 1 was super serious. Ghoulies 2 was not really serious because they were in a carnival.
Yeah.
Phil on a
I
carnival
love
was
that
there.
one.
Dude,
but
that
it
was
had
great,
that,
too.
but it had that really emotional scene where he sees them and they're like, you can be one of us type thing. But that was sort of serious. And then this one is just like, fuck it, out the window. They're going to drink Miller Lite and yank.
yeah, they were like, "Look, in the first movie, the woman from Law and Order, SVU, was there. It was a serious movie about Ghoulies and
And
what happens."
sunglasses. Yeah. I don't know. I think that this is like the next level of when it comes to when I talk about sequels getting dumber. People get mad at me. I'm like Ghostbusters and like Gremlins. Like they just went to the level that was just complete comedy instead of having any kind of root in like a horror at all. Even the first Ghostbusters has scary scenes for children.
Yeah.
And this one is just like the complete opposite. you can't watch this movie because it's just full of nipples.
Yeah.
Not because it's like horrific. Or your dad's like, actually, I don't mind so bad boobs. Have a seat, son.
Well, speaking
That didn't
of,
happen to me at all, by the way.
Speaking of talking about how people kind of hate this movie, which
Oh, please. You got some good
I got
quotes.
on Letterboxd, which we'll quite get on there quite a bit. I screenshot a few reviews of people who like just hate this movie, and the only reason they hate it is because the Ghoulies talk, and that's the whole reason they hate it.
Right out of the box, too.
So, like this one guy posted, he said, "Whoever decided to make the Ghoulies talk deserves to be chopped up and flushed down the toilet. Too dumb for adults, too horny for children."
Wow. That's the best review I've ever
You
seen.
know, that's actually
I've ever
pretty
heard.
accurate, but that's okay.
And here's another one where he says, "I have an idea. What if the Ghoulies talk in part 3? I have Richard Kind's number, an idiot."
Richard Kind plays Cat, the voice of Cat.
Yeah. And here's another one. I'll read. This is very long. I'll just read the beginning of it, where it's, "Fuck you for making the Ghoulies talk. They're so annoying in this. I wanted to fast forward their scenes and get back to the college prank drama. The jokes in this are horrifically
Oh,
bad."
my God.
I mean, it's just, and then he just keeps going on and on. And then this other guy leaves a half star and said, "Whoever decided to make the Ghoulies talk should be forced to only be able to watch the film Ghoulies Go to College for the rest of their life."
I respect these people.
And that's just like 4 out of many on there where people are like, "I hate that they talk."
But I mean,
They're Ghoulies like purists.
but it's fun. But it's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie. They took John Belushi's character from Animal House and made him the Ghoulies. That's all they did. They
I
dressed
know.
him up. The way that he
Yeah.
talks, the things that they do. It reminds me of like if John Belushi was alive, he'd be like, "Gotcha, that's
Yeah.
me."
They're acting like they made a sequel to E.T. and like E.T.'s not supposed to talk in this one. That's insane. Like he
Jason's
always says
running.
phone home, and that's it.
It's like Jason before he says, "Running? No way."
E.T. goes on a panty raid with the critters. I mean, there's plenty of stupid movies like this. I mean, like Munchies. Remember those? Exactly.
Just little rubber monster.
Munchies, and something else, and I did not turn my volume down.
But the thing is yes, it's a comedy. I mean, not really a horror film. I mean, there are horror aspects, I guess, but
I
it's a dumb comedy.
The most horrifying part of this movie for me was how crazed Professor Ragnar gets towards Skip. And towards the end of the movie, he tells the Ghoulies to kill Skip.
Well, he's had enough of his shit.
Yeah.
You see what Skip did to his classroom? That chalkboard's never going to wash.
I don't know. Have you hung out with anybody in college lately? You probably would have been like, I kind of relate to Ragnar more as I get older.
The older I get, I would say that I do relate to Ragnar more.
These kids won't shut up next door to me. They keep partying all night, and I'm just trying to go to bed. I gotta work tomorrow.
But I mean,
He's so obsessed he becomes a ghoulie.
yeah, and that's another reason I love it, because the ghoulie creatures, and then when he becomes the ghoulie, he's got like the little Watto, like
This guy's a little Kang.
you know what?
Watto.
But I will say that makeup effect looks better than MODOK from the fucking Marvel movies.
Oh, nice.
It looks good. That's probably my favorite effect of the whole movie when he shows up at the end, and I was like, oh yeah, this part with him with the big monster in his stomach.
He got a big
it looks
monster in his
great.
belly.
Yeah.
Which, how did that even happen? How did all three of the Ghoulies and Ragnar combine?
So the whole point was, at one point, he dares them to kill him, and they can't kill him. And if they kill him, he absorbs their power. Correct? Isn't that how it works?
I don't think
There is no figuring it out,
There's no
Steve.
explanation for it.
Because I remember that's the scene in the film. Is like, he's come on and kill me, and they're like, he's crazy. And then they're like, you can't,
Well, because he's their master. So if they kill him,
because he has the comic.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they didn't mention that like only like 100 times in the movie where they're like, well,
Here's
if he has the comic, he controls the Ghoulies. I'm like, thanks for reminding me again.
Here's the problem with that. The very first scene has the guy who conjures them for the first time, and they literally eat him, but he also controls the comic, and then that's why I love this movie, because fuck it.
Maybe it's because he was on their toilet. Again, they were shitting in their house. You can summon ghoulies as long as you're not
Probably.
on a toilet, Steve.
Oh,
I
God.
think we may be looking for too much logic in Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College.
For me, it's just a total like I said, it's like a boner comedy, like frat movie, because I like it has all those tropes where it has like the panty raid, the shower scene, the girl dancing nude in front of the window, which is just from fucking
Cabin in the
Animal House.
Woods.
Yeah, that. Just beer.
That's part of your
Just
list of
beer.
like
Yeah,
college
just
movies.
beer.
Lots of beer.
The dean, the campus security guy who's like, everybody hates. The main character having a dumb name like Skip or like Chet or something like all that stuff. Your big dopey ugly friend who is that guy who looks like basically kind of looks like a garbage pail kid. And at the end, they have the big speech where he gets everybody in the frat together to go win the day and
We're gonna yank more than anybody's yanked before.
we're gonna yank it.
Oh god.
Even the end of the movie, they just sort of walk away. I love that about 80s horror films. It's like, oh my god, this traumatic shit just happened. Yeah, well, back to class. You got to pass the final.
I got AP. I got bio next.
Next day in college, everything's fine.
Skip and Aaron go off to Bone, and then he somehow he's given like a crown, the prank crown.
It's the yank
at the-
crown. You
at-
keep fucking you guys.
I
Wearing the crown.
really don't love saying the word yank.
I think you do.
And then he of course, like again, any good 80s boner comedy, which I'm now only going to call them boner comedies. Thank you, Ace.
That's what they
you,
are.
Ace.
Boner comedy.
He orders a party because what else is there to do?
Other than party. I mean, probably shouldn't be reading comics anymore.
I mean,
Oh,
it's a
okay,
safe
Dave.
bet.
I mean, no. Do you think if the Ghoulies were able to read, because obviously they can't, because if they got the comic and they read it, would they technically be their own masters at that point? Would they
I
be
don't know.
free?
What if they summered up more ghoulies?
Would they be dumber?
Summer of the Ghoulers.
Summer of the Ghoulies. This is the sequel that we need. The Ghoulies get the comic, they read it, and then other Ghoulies come, but they're copies of these copies.
Ghoulish Tales Part 2.
Yes.
That's
You
the
know
name
what
of
you
the comic.
get when you do a copy of a copy. It's like the what's that movie?
Multiplicity.
Oh no!
They just keep getting dumber.
dumber and dumber.
That's why they're so dumb in this movie, and that's why I'm sticking to it.
So they're dumb, but at one point, one of the Ghoulies complains that he hates classical music, that he hates Mozart. Like, it's just kind of a throwaway comment. But I'm like, how do you even know who Mozart is? First of all, we never see them attend a class once. So the title,
You weren't in music class.
Ghoulies Go To College, did they really?
They didn't.
It's not called Ghoulies Enroll in College. They just went there.
Yeah, like Tommy Lee. Come on.
It's like Ghoulies got a loan from Fannie Mae and went to college.
I just want one scene where a Ghoulies like pulling an all-nighter. He's like, got this fucking essay due in the morning.
Oh, yeah. These guys are idiots. They're like three fucking Kid Rocks. They show up at school and be like, fuck it, man.
They're like that. They're like those guys you like went who like. I like when I was in college, there'd always be like one buddy who would hang out with everybody, but he didn't actually go to college. He just hung out at all the parties and be like, "You go here?" And he's like, "Nah, I went to high school with this guy over here."
Yeah, he's like, I'm 29 years
Yeah,
old.
I'm 29.
I work at
every
the steel
trope.
factory.
You walked I work at Allentown and everything is just falling down. I'm going to go to college now and get out of this fucking town. They rhymed. Hey, look at that. I'm Billy Joel.
He just wrote a Bruce Springsteen song.
Well, I mean, this movie is not aged well, especially all the things we've talked about. Like, and some of these pranks are based on real stuff. You
Yeah.
can just tell. I'm like, oh, I remember that. I've heard about that. I've seen that. And nobody can haze anymore. Not like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just watched SVU. You just can't do that.
Yeah, it was like one time when I was in college, I went to a store and bought a bomb that looked like a bowling ball with a big long wick in it, and took it it to school.
No, I'm kidding. You're not wrong because there's a movie that I loved when I was a kid, and it was called what was it called? Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
With Edwards from Revenge of the Nerds, and the whole point of this movie is they're running around with these dart guns that look real, and they're shooting each other on campus, and it's all fun. And we did that crap. I was in high school, and there's no fucking way, man, that I could get away with that shit now.
Oh yeah, that's like there's a
I mean,
movie.
we shouldn't.
There's a movie called like Fatal Exam where like they
That's a good one.
they take like I think this is the one I'm thinking of. There's multiple of these like killer college movies, but it's like there's literally like fake someone's death, like somebody carries a gun onto the campus and shoots somebody and like fakes a death.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, good, like this didn't age well. Like I don't
No, but I mean, school shooters weren't really a thing. It
Yeah.
was something that happened at factories, and it was starting to build in the 90s. And then just look at where we are now. It's crazy.
I mean, now
Politics.
you have entire YouTube channels, or I guess TikTok people, as the kids say, that they're all prank channels, and like all that they do are pranks. But you see, like, there are consequences for these pranks now. People have been killed.
That one kid that killed them all, got shot in the mall by the guy who was like an Uber driver or whatever. He's picking up food, and they walked up to him with a phone, and they're pranking him, and he's just like, "Leave me alone." And then he just turns around and shoots this kid. Like that just happened, like what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't pull pranks.
You just start a PSA for like dun 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 dun.
Don't do pranks.
GORE CLUB
The more
says
you
don't
know.
do it.
You could get ghoulied or shot. Either one. But that's
Just say gnome.
Oh my god.
I think that's why we love the movie. And this movie is definitely a product of John Karl Buechler. And I think we should just sort of talk about him for a second, because we glossed over it a little bit at the beginning. But I think it's time to talk about the man who brought us so many special effects. And like I said earlier, it's like a piece of art. You could see his work and know that he did this, right?
Okay.
John Karl Buechler, effects wizard,
Effects master.
effects master. Forbidden World, Reanimator, Cellar Dweller, Troll.
Yeah, he ran the company for his makeup effects company for Roger Corman's early New World Picture stuff, and then Charles Band. Those two guys, who I've always said Charles Band, he is the 80s Roger Corman. And Roger Corman just passed away, and we haven't even talked about that because it's really actually pissing me off and making me really sad. But yeah, Roger Corman passed away, and this is a great person who helped him during those late years, actually in the 80s when New World was kind of fizzling out and he was starting another production company, because that's what Roger Corman did. But this is about John Karl Buechler, and the man is badass. He did all of my favorite little movies that I didn't even know. It wasn't until Friday the 13th Part 7 that I even knew his name. I just wasn't.
And if you like, not even like, most of the time we go through these things when we talk about movies that somebody directed. Well, like his special effects credits are like more impressive than like anything I've ever. Like if you just go scroll through his special effects credits, you're like, damn, dude! Like he was on every movie I've ever liked.
He worked in Nightmare on Elm Street. He worked Friday the 13th.
He
worked on Halloween.
I also love that his wife Lynn worked with him in this company. Like it was a family affair. Magical Media Industries.
Yeah, thank you.
I think she was just tired of him like bringing puppets home. She's like, just fuck it, I'll just go with you, and then we'll do this together. You just can't bring them home anymore.
Yeah,
I understand that.
that's how our basement's full of shit.
But I mean, he definitely had his own style. Like I said, you can look at the creatures from Cellar Dweller, Troll, Dungeon Master. You can look at all those creatures. Arena. Yeah, you can look at them and you can see his work, and it's very noticeable. And I think that's really cool, because a lot of effects artists, some of them will have their signature thing, but I think it's rare, for me at least, to be able to look at an effects monster and be like, that's John Karl Buechler. I know who that is. I know who made that, or it's in his style. Whereas K&B, they've got their great effects credits, but I've never looked at a monster and be like, that's a Nicotero monster.
Yeah, no, it's true. Maybe in the very early years, like Evil Dead up to like In the Mouth of Madness, it kind of had a certain look. But after that, they have to worry about what the production designer, who's being paid more than the company is at the time, to do designs all that stuff. Mm-hmm. John was like, no, I got this.
Yeah.
Plus, if I'm the director, I really have this.
Yeah. Also, he also did, which I just noticed on here, he did Bigfoot monster design in the movie Demon Warp. Which I don't know if anybody's ever watched that movie, but you would be watching this and you're like, why are there aliens in this Bigfoot movie? And like, I'm not going to explain the rest, but you definitely need to watch that movie to find out. It's insane.
One of his credits on the internet, it says that he usually has a monster that is electrocuted. And now that I've read that, I was like, holy shit. That happens so many times. Or on fire.
Yeah.
He just destroys his own, like, he's like me with my Star Wars figures. Like, light them on fire and roll them down the hill. And that's how he is with his monsters. It's like, he lived a fantastic life. I think he should deserve more credit, because I would see him at a horror convention, and he wasn't even on the guest list. He'd just be walking around.
Gosh.
And shopping. And I'd be like, I know who you are, but goddamn, you're awesome. Don't look at me like that. Because I was just like, you're amazing, and thank you so much. And I was glad I was able to say that. Even I had no idea he was going to pass away. Like, I think maybe 3 years later.
It's 2010, I think.
Oh God, that's just devastating. Devastating for the genre, devastating for his family and anybody who's ever he's touched so many people's lives in a positive way. So having 10 minutes for John Carl Beekler was nice.
Yeah.
Silence.
Anyway,
We love you, dude.
So that brings us close to the close. But I really want to know, where do you think the Ghoulies went? What happened to the Ghoulies after college?
Is this your fucking question?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
And do you think they had college debt? I mean, technically, they were the first monsters in college, right?
Yeah.
Next to Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory.
But I don't think he graduated.
He did. He was just there too.
He was just there. He was the
Invading
friend.
the dorm.
He was just a friend of. But
Yeah.
they went. Do you think that they graduated with a master's degree? What are they doing now?
When did Teen Wolf 2 come out, okay?
Doesn't count.
Oh,
Teen Wolf.
He
Teen
actually
Wolf,
graduated.
Teen
and he
Wolf,
was-
Teen Wolf came from a rich family. These came from a toilet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see them in the future with just with all their friends. Like, you have a little gremlin, you've got some critters, you have a crite, sorry, not a critter. You've got, I want their muses. They all come together.
See, I think
Their peers, if you will.
I think the green one works in middle management somewhere.
Fish.
Yeah, fish works in middle management. The big dopey one, he works at like a steel mill or something.
Isn't that Cat? No, Cat obviously looks like Cat. There's
No.
There's
Like
rat.
the cat
Rat.
one and one of
There you
them.
go.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes that like pulls up in his driveway and is just like, fuck. And just sits in his truck for 5 minutes and then walks in because he partied too much in college.
Yeah, he did.
Cat probably, maybe he's doing all right.
Yeah, maybe. He's got like 6 kids or little ghoulers.
He's
But if
a
you-
professor now.
He's probably a professor, yes.
Yeah, he's
But
a Professor Ragnar with glasses and a chalkboard. Now the kids are getting revenge on him.
Yeah. Oh man.
They summoned more shitty humans out of the toilet.
Maybe we'll have a little special bonus after this episode. So if you just keep watching, you might find out where the Ghoulies actually went.
They may have a cyanosis.
Fish went on to be the king of spring break.
He died diving off of a pier.
he's that guy who you hear those stories where like they fell off the 2nd story balcony of a Panama City Beach hotel.
Oh no, God! Bad Eric Clapton joke insert right there. Sorry. I love the Ghoulies. I actually made a note about the people who did the voices. Bob Bergen did Rat. He did. He was Luke Skywalker's voice from most of like Battlefront, all the video games for the 90s and 2000s. Porky Pig from 1999 until now. He's in one of the Minions. He's in Gremlins. He's did Lily Cat and Akira, which are 2 of my favorite anime films. Cat was Richard Kind. Richard Kind is in everything as an actual actor.
He's
and
one of
did
those
voices.
people that when you see him, you're like, oh, that fucking guy.
Yeah, he's like, how everybody?
Yeah, he was just in that Netflix thing with John
Yeah.
Mulaney.
Yeah.
And
Everyone's
he's-
in LA.
Everyone's in LA, and he's hilarious because he's always the neurotic, like, oh my god, just like
He's arguably the most famous person in this movie. George Clooney was his best man at his wedding.
Aw.
Yeah, right? And then, of course, you've got Fish, which is Patrick Penny. And I don't know what else he did.
Sorry, Pat.
Sorry. Fish got fucked.
Also, I think I'm just realizing that Minions are the modern day Ghoulies.
Shut up. Oh, no.
I
You
hate
just,
that.
this whole table is wants to flip this fucking table now.
Yep, sorry.
Son of a bitch. Minions or Ghoulies?
They had to end it on a down note, didn't you, Katie?
That's what I do.
Everybody's mom's favorite meme with like a minion in it or something. It's like, oh, look at this, it's hilarious.
The Minions are fucking they're in every meme ever. It'll just be like the one-eyed minion with like jet fuel can't melt steel beams or something. What?
Yeah, that sums it up pretty
That's
well.
depressing.
You're welcome.
You know what, though? Ghoulies could speak better. They went to college.
You got a degree in communications.
Yes. Yeah. I have no idea how to stop this fucking thing. Let's get out of here.
We could just stop it right here.
Yeah.
You all tell us where you think the Ghoulies went after college. And if you hate this movie,
And if you hate this episode,
if you hate this
this
episode,
is the most weird, random episode.
They went to grad school. Got buried in tons of college debt.
It's all getting be forgiven right now, isn't it? Isn't that
Yeah.
where we go? Isn't that the future? 2024.
Biden signs the College Debt Relief Act and fucking Ghoulies are up there like, yeah. they go back to killing, and now we get a real fucking Ghoulies horror film.
Okay, let's be honest. I would love to see this is a franchise I would like to see picked it back up by somebody who has money. Whether it's A24 or whatever, that'd be hilarious. By the way, if it was A24, it would be like
just like
Ghoulies.
classical Nirvana in the background as the Ghoulies walk slowly.
Oh shit! But I mean, I think this would make a good remake.
This is a Blumhouse movie, not an A24 movie. Dude.
Oh yeah, it's picked up by Lionsgate.
You do Ghoulies go to community college.
I don't know, just something like I'd like to see them go back to the more ferocious self. It's like Puppet Master movies. That first one, they're awesome, and then they're team players, and now they're Nazis, and it's just like now they're fighting the Nazis, and it's like I don't know. The new Puppet Master movies are really good, and they take it more serious than say Puppet Master 17. But you have Ghoulies now, and just call it that, Ghoulies Now.
Ghoulies Now.
Ghoulies Now.
Like Apocalypse Now.
Jesus, that's a whole.
It's like a ghoulie wakes up in a hotel room with the thing, fan going. He's
No.
He's like, I'm still in
Oh, okay. Darkness.
We're going to see what Ari Aster or James Wan are doing. So
Okay. Ari Aster's Ghoulies. Think about that. Fede Alvarez's Ghoulies.
It's about grief.
Yeah.
That's the spoiler.
It's about, oh my God, family and grief, Ghoulie style.
Martin
can't.
Sheen do the voice of the fish.
Oh God, I guess we can get the fuck out of here. Does anybody have anything else to say about this amazing film that we can't stop talking about? And maybe now we've put it to bed.
no, I got nothing else to say.
Okay.
Ghoulies went to college, graduated, hate their lives. All right. Anyways,
Let's get us out of here, man.
thanks for listening to us. You can find us on Anchor FM, Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Castbox, Verbal.com, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're listening to us now. Yay!
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bah.
You think Mia Goth would be in it?
Oh, yeah, Mia Goth and Ghoulies.